Today I'm going to tell you about the great war strategist Khalid bin Waleed. Khalid ibn al-Waleed, lived in the 7th century CE, was a companion to the Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him and the greatest of military leaders. Khalid ibn al-Waleed was a military strategist and commander who turned potential defeats into victories. Before accepting Islam, it was Khalid ibn al-Waleed who managed to cause the defeat of the Muslim army at Uhud. Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him said, "The better ones of you in the days of ignorance are the better ones of you in Islam when they understand Islam." These words of the Prophet were best proved in the case of Khalid ibn al-Waleed. Strategy in Ad. In the Battle of Uhud, the Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him placed a group of archers on a nearby hill to give protection to the back of the Muslim army with specific instructions not to leave their posts under any circumstances. As the battle turned in favor of the Muslim army, the archers left their positions from the hill. Khalid ibn al-Waleed took advantage of this and led the Meccan fighters with him around the hill to attack the Muslim army from the rear, where they least expected their enemy, and the loss on the part of the Muslims became a great one. It teaches the lesson that due to disobedience of the order of the leader it can lead to the loss of battle and life. The Quranic verse was revealed soon after the battle was lost by Muslims due to their disobedience, lack of discipline and greed as the reason for defeat. Allah describes the battle as both a punishment and a test of their steadfastness. Allah certainly fulfilled his promise to you when you were fighting them with his leave, until you lost courage, disputed about the matter, and disobeyed after he showed you what you loved. Some of you desire this world, and some of you desire the hereafter. Then he turned you away from them so that he might test you. Certainly he has excused you, for Allah is gracious to the faithful. Quran 3-152. In the 8th year after the Hijrah, Khalid bin Waleed accepted Islam. Now Khalid ibn al-Waleed, in joining those who fought for higher values, he found an honorable cause to fight for, and the Muslims gained an excellent strategist and commander. Strategy in Battle of Mu'tah. The first battle in which Khalid ibn al-Waleed won the day for Muslims was the Muslims' first encounter with the Byzantine army in the Battle of Mu'tah on the northern borders of the Arabian Peninsula. Due to the dangerous nature of the battle, the Prophet Muhammad chose 3 commanders to succeed one another. The reason for sending these fighters was that the Byzantine rulers in the Syrian region had killed some Muslim missionaries. The Byzantine army proved to be too large in number in comparison with the small number of the Muslims. But the Muslim army still entered the battle. The 3 commanders were killed: Zayd ibn Haritha, Jafar ibn Abi Talib, Abdallah ibn Rawaha. 4, and they were martyred one by one, and the banner was about to fall on the ground when Ibn Ayakam rushed to save it, and he gave it to Khalid ibn al-Waleed, telling him that he was more knowledgeable in matters of war. Khalid ibn Waleed refused because he felt Ibn al-Arkam was more worthy of leading the army due to his age in service to the Muslims. But he accepted on his insistence. Remember, this battle was not in favor of the Muslims, due to the huge number of the Byzantines' forces and the death of the 3 commanders appointed by the Prophet. They could have retreated, but that was almost impossible as the Muslim army was surrounded. It was here that we see Khalid ibn al-Waleed, the military strategist, come into play. Khalid ibn Waleed reshuffled the right and left flanks of the Muslim army and introduced forward a division from the rear in order to cast fear in the hearts of the enemy forces who thought that fresh reinforcements had arrived. Khalid ibn Waleed managed to make an opening within the lines of the enemy through which the Muslim army managed to break out safely. Battle of Yamama. After the death of the Prophet, Abu Bakr was elected the head of the Muslims, and during his time there appeared impostors who claimed prophethood like Musaylima. Abu Bakr formed an army. Abu Bakr divided the army into 11 divisions with a commander for each. One of those divisions was put under the command of Khalid ibn al-Waleed, who won all the battles entered by his army. Khalid ibn Waleed's most dangerous was that in which the Muslims had to fight Musaylima and his violent cult-like followers. Strategy in Battle of Yamama. Abu Bakr chose Khalid to lead the fighting against Musaylima. In the beginning, a large number of the Muslim warriors were killed. Khalid ibn Waleed went up to the top of a nearby hill and studied the situation to discover the weak spots of the enemy. So then he reorganized his forces. Musaylima was killed in this battle and his cult decimated. So then Abu Bakr gave more tasks to Khalid ibn Waleed due to his experience and knowledge of war. Battle of Bosra. Where the Roman Empire was concerned, Abu Bakr sent armies under the command of distinguished companions of the Prophet, Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah and Amr ibn Ayaz. But the Roman Empire prepared a huge army whose news was sent to Abu Bakr. Khalid ibn Waleed was then ordered to Syria to take charge of the Muslim armies. The Muslim army was outnumbered and the Romans were better equipped and experienced, and there were also many new converts from the region he was about to engage in battle, and Khalid was afraid that some of his soldiers might try fleeing, which would have a devastating effect on the morals of the rest of the Muslim army. Strategy in Battle of Bosra. To avoid this, Khalid ordered that Muslim women must also be armed too and wait in the rear, and they were given orders to kill anyone who might attempt to flee from the battle. As the battle commenced, it became a fierce one, and the Muslim armies has faith to move forward and a conviction that if they die they will do so in honor, which is martyrdom. So the Muslims fought fearlessly, to the extent it is said by some that with a band of only 100 fighters Khalid faced a whole division of many thousands of Roman soldiers. Battle of Yarmouk. The nature of Khalid ibn Waleed is revealed in another manner in this famous Battle of Yarmouk. For in the midst of the battle Khalid ibn Waleed received a letter in which he was informed of the death of Abu Bakr and the instructions of the new caliph that he make Abu Ubaidah in charge. To avoid any confusion in his army which was focused on the battle in hand, Khalid ibn Waleed kept the death of Abu Bakr secret until victory was achieved. He then went to Abu Ubaidah to place himself under his command. When Khalid ibn Waleed burned the bridge at Yarmouk, in 636. He used desperate ground strategy by cutting off his own army's avenue of escape. Tariq ibn Zayd also used this same strategy at Gibraltar in 711. The defining characteristics of Khalid ibn al-Waleed was the speed of his military operations. He was a great exponent of rapid and disruptive guerrilla tactics that demoralized the enemy. Khalid ibn al-Waleed taught that leadership is not simply an honor but a trust, amana, from Allah, higher purpose, given, and that those given this trust must fulfill their responsibilities to the best of their abilities without ego. As a Muslim, Khalid ibn Waleed believed that he will be questioned about his leadership at the Day of Judgment. With this in mind, how many of us who find ourselves in leadership positions can truly say we have such awareness of our temporary lives? And how we too will face judgments one way or another after we die. We all are leaders. Leadership is about teamwork, as no one can alone accomplish anything without followers. And the important one is that effective leaders are those who are servant leaders. Khalid ibn al-Waleed told, "Be proactive, take action and take advantage of being the first to make the move." And in other place he said, "Be aware of the situation you'll find yourself in, look at things logically and respond with tactics and flexibility."